Good afternoon to Lower Merion, Narberth, and Radnor Townships, and all other communities that are picking up the signal of Radnor 21 Studios on your cable. My name is Perry Hamilton. I'm with the Dad Vail Regatta, and with me is the president of the Dad Vail Regatta, Jim Hanna. Jim, how are you this afternoon?
Fine, Perry. Thank you for the welcome, and welcome aboard to your position as Assistant General Manager of the Jefferson Dad Vail Regatta. There's no story I enjoy telling more than the story of the Jefferson Dad Vail Regatta. And this year it's an especially exciting story. You know, traditionally we've attracted cruises from as far north as Ontario, Canada, as far south as Jacksonville, Florida, as far west as Berkeley, California. And the fact of the matter is, over 100 colleges and schools come to the Dad Vail Regatta, the Jefferson Dad Vail Regatta. Jefferson is our title sponsor now. Right. And there'll be thousands of kids attending the regatta. So it's the largest collegiate regatta in North America. It's the Big Daddy. We say Dad Vail, but Jefferson Dad Vail. And the commitment is to really deliver the penultimate rowing experience for collegiate level kids. Right. This is really the masters of rowing, so to speak. It's kind of like Wimbledon is to tennis, or Ascot is to horse racing, or the Royal Henley Regatta is to rowing. But it's right here in the United States, right here, 10 minutes from where most people live, that we are telecasting to today. So it's an easy step down to the river, but we have some very serious crews that attend. West Point Military Academy, MIT, University of Chicago. So people come from all over, William and Mary College, for example. But as large as we are, in the end, what makes us wonderful is all of the 200 plus volunteers are committed to the kids. Right. We want to make sure that everyone who comes to the regatta has a chance to row, not once but twice. So the plan is everybody who comes gets to row, and winning is major. Last year, the women's event was won by Boston University. Massachusetts was second, and then third was Fordham. But Drexel and MIT were in the event, along with Grand Valley. The men's event was won by Temple. Temple was a powerhouse years ago. For 13 consecutive regattas, they won. And people who went to some people went to other regattas, and we called them the can't beat Temple regattas. But Temple is back now as a powerhouse. St. Joe's won the silver last year. St. Joe's University, and third with a bronze was Colgate. But Drexel was not far behind. Delaware, Virginia, Michigan State too. So as far as the regatta, the wonderful story is we're far more than a regatta. We're a major event in Philadelphia, and you said, how did we ever become a major event? We're all about giving back. People find rowers achieve a certain level of success in life. They follow some traditional values, and hopefully we inculcate some leadership values with youth. Integrity, honor, dignity. It's a rules-based race. If you don't follow the rules, you're not going to win. You'll be eliminated. So people find out there's consequences. We sort of follow old-fashioned traditional values. But we say we're far more than a regatta because we have a number of things going on. One thing we have, for those who are not gifted athletically, we have an art poster contest. And the artwork is staggering. It's wonderful to see these young artists at our Friday press conference, when it's run by the mayor, Mayor Jim Kenney, comes to our regatta and helps us hand out awards to the winners of the art poster contest. But in addition to the art poster contest, if there are people who rowed at the regatta and now want to come back, we have alumni racing. We also have corporate competition for corporations locally. Rather than talk about their competition at the water cooler, we say come back and compete on the water. Particularly new now is para-rowing or adaptive rowing. That's something we've been pushing for several years now. And we're lucky because people are adopting our vision. Our vision is that someone who could only qualify really as an adaptive rower,
Right.
if they're walking through campus
Right.
and they never ever thought they could be competing in an athletic event or sport, and lastly never dreamed they could be on the water, crew members are going to go out and say, come and we'll teach you to row, because their victories, their triumphs will count towards the overall point trophy at the regatta.
Right.
So for kids who never thought they could row,
Right.
for whatever reason, a physical limitation, a mental limitation, whatever it might be, it'll be life-altering.
Yes.
So that's our vision with adaptive rowing.
Yes.
And I'm going to come back and tell you more about that. But in addition to the regatta, everybody should come down. There's something for everyone.
Right.
It's a rite of passage. We're right in Fairmont Park on Kelly Drive. People can sit on the seawall and watch the baby ducks follow the mother duck,
Right.
enjoy the fruit trees blossoming, but also be up so close to the rowers you can see the sweat pouring off their brow as they come down the last 500 meters, and you'll hear the coxswains shouting at them and chanting to raise the stroke rate. So it's one of the few venues in the United States. We're very, very fortunate to be in Philadelphia. We're grateful to the city of Philadelphia, to Mayor Jim Kenney. We're grateful to Fairmont Park. We're grateful to all our volunteers. We're grateful to our sponsors. I should just mention for a moment, Jefferson Health is our title sponsor. And they have been a title sponsor for several years. But in addition, we have Independence Blue Cross, a presenting sponsor. They've been a presenting sponsor for 3 years now. Then we have Pico, and we have Coca-Cola as presenting sponsors. They have been presenting sponsors for over 10 years. So we're fortunate to have that type of support. But back to the regatta and a few extra things we do. In addition to para-rowing and adaptive rowing and the art poster contest and the alumni rowing, okay, and the corporate competition, we have a boat tour that takes people out on the water, right by Rowers Village, so people are out on the water where there are boats actually coming in and out of the Rowers Village.
What's Rowers Village, though?
Well, Rowers Village is like an Olympic village. All the rowers park their trailers there. Their boats are on boat stretchers, and that's where they gather to launch. So you're permitted to walk right by that area, and you will see some of the finest athletes in the world. Not only finest athletes, but finest intellectual students. These people have a 3.5 or better cum. And we say there's 5 things they need to remember in terms of priorities. Number 1 is their faith. Number 2 is their family. Number 3 is studies. Number 4 is rowing. And social life comes a distant 5th.
Distant. Okay.
So they remember that. We call it 3, 5, and 3.5, which means there's 5 important things to remember. But remember, you need to keep your cum up.
3.5.
So Rowers Village is like an Olympic village. It's a beautiful pageant of color, a great mix, wonderful kids, a terrific energy level, which is one of the things that inspires our over 200 volunteers. So that boat tour takes you down out on the water, past Rowers Village, all the way down to Boathouse Row, where a tour is conducted of the historic boathouses. So it's something unusual and really special. But today everyone needs to reinvent themselves every day. You need to innovate, because in this fast-paced world, you need to keep up. So you said, what are we doing differently? We talked about para-rowing. We're fortunate this year because we're going to have someone who's going to help us and who is going to be director of our adaptive rowing. And Taylor has already made a great impression. She rowed the 2,000-meter race course last year.
Which is the full course.
It's the full Olympic distance. And surprised everyone. So as far as where we're going right now, that silver bowl that everybody wants to win, which is the overall Dad Vail Cup, that's the big bowl. That's where adaptive rowers are going to have make a big difference.
So their race will be consequential towards the team winning.
Yes. Now, even as we're sitting here today, Perry, the kids are eating, sleeping, and dreaming about winning a Dad Vail gold medal.
Right.
Paul Savell, who's the coach at Drexel, has told us the kids are crossing the days off their calendar, just like kids do before Christmas when they're waiting for Santa Claus to come. But winning a gold medal is really everything. You might say, what's the allure of this regatta? Yeah. It's something indescribable. It's something magic. It's something sacred. We honored 25th anniversary cruise and 50th anniversary cruise. Right. These are crews that won the regatta, came in first place 25 years ago and 50 years ago. And one of the most memorable testimonials I've ever heard was from a grandfather, someone who came back to celebrate his 50th anniversary. He brought his wife and his children and his grandchildren, and all of his seatmates, the other rowers in the boat, were up on the stage with him. And in front of his wife and children, he said, the most memorable accomplishment in my life was winning a Dad Vail gold medal. Now, you say, why do people prize these in such a way? They know what, and everyone understands the sacrifices one makes in order to win a first place position at the Jefferson Dad Vail Regatta. But importantly, even though we bring back 25th and 50th year crews, and Brown was here, Brown University from Rhode Island was here 10 years ago to celebrate their 50th. Yeah. We got a call this year from the same crew. They said, please set aside some time. We want to come back and celebrate our 60th.
Oh, really? Oh, great.
So that'll be a first. But in terms of Rowers Village, the art poster contest, all the competition that's going on, there's so much that goes into the regatta. Now this year, the regatta is Friday, May 10th, right. Saturday, May 11th. Races start at 7 o'clock in the morning. Right. And the nice thing about this Jefferson Dad Vail Regatta is it's free. There's no admission charge.
That's hard to beat.
Yeah.
It's a great price.
Yeah. Now this regatta was started for smaller schools. Right. Rusty Callow, who was the coach of the University of Pennsylvania crew back in 1934, right. said there should really be an event for smaller schools. Right. So he started this regatta. Yeah. And then Lev Brett in 1939 was the one that really started the nonprofit organization in those days. It was called Dad Vail Rowing Association. Right. And between those two, they decided they'd name the regatta after the beloved coach of University of Wisconsin. Right. His name was Harry Emerson Vail. But he was so beloved by everyone on the campus of the University of Wisconsin, everybody called him Dad. Right. Not just the rowers, but right. the students as well. So people frequently ask, what's the derivation of the name?
Exactly.
So that's the genesis, that's the history. So the regatta has grown enormously over the years. And as crews win, there used to be a rule, after you win 3 times, you move up to a regatta where you're competing with far larger programs. Right. We're really for fledgling crews. So many of the crews that come, the kids that row, they're running car washes and bake sales to raise the money to make sure they can afford to get here to Philadelphia. So for the people who will be viewing this particular program, right. take full advantage. This regatta is a jewel in the crown of Philadelphia. It's one of the highlights. People have heard about it for years, yes. and it comes up annually. But it's a wonderful, wonderful event. It's a family-friendly event.
Now you have the alumni tents also, don't you?
We do. We permit alumni to erect tents along the bank of the river, and they're welcome to bring a picnic lunch. Many bring their own charcoal grill and make a real picnic out of the event. Right. And some of them might not even have boats competing at the regatta, but they still come back because they remember their era where they competed.
Okay.
But as crews' fortunes wax and wane, sometimes they'll move up to a larger regatta and then they'll come back. Right. This year we understand Georgetown is coming back. They thought they had graduated but they are now, as a program, they feel they can have a lot of success competing with crews that are in the Jefferson Dad Vail Regatta. Now, for those crews that are successful, if they really perform exceptionally well, the Jefferson Dad Vail Regatta will help subsidize a trip for them to compete at the Royal Henley in England.
Oh.
So we sent a number of crews over to the Royal Henley Regatta in England, and we've started to sort of model the Jefferson Dad Vail after Henley.
Right.
So as far as you'd say, what do you see in the way of similarities? Well, as far as the Jefferson Dad Vail Regatta, you'll see all the colorful tents, flags on top of the tent poles. You'll see the rowers in top-notch shape. You'll see the boats polished to a high sheen. You'll see an order and discipline to the crews. You'll see things running very systematically. But what people especially appreciate with this regatta, the rowers, is the precision with which the regatta operates. Remember that this is not like an indoor tennis match where you're protected from the weather and you plan to play tennis and you will be able to play. In the case of rowing, you never know what sort of weather conditions you'll have. You can be outdoors, you can be in the wind, you can have a swift current.
I was going to say, you have river conditions.
Exactly. So there can be a lot of surprises. So people have to be ready to make an adjustment. Our officials, who are all licensed by United States Rowing Association, they're all certified licensed referees. They know the rules. They know the rule book. They are all volunteers. Sometimes regattas give them a small stipend to appear because they have their own travel costs. They have the costs of having equipment such as megaphones and wet weather gear in case there's inclement weather. Races go on normally no matter what the weather. But the great thing about this regatta, and it's almost miraculous, the wonderful thing about it is it goes off like clockwork despite its size. And one of the things people really enjoy is getting credit for running a regatta well. Many times people come up and say, especially coaches, thank you for running such a efficient regatta. Other regattas, if they're not staffed, if they're not planning on the disciplined race schedule, racing can be haphazard. But one thing we do is we really protect our reputation by operating a regatta that runs very, very efficiently, making sure, as we said, everyone gets a chance to row.
Row twice.
Row twice, exactly.
Every athlete could row twice if they want to.
Correct, yeah. Now you'd say, what happens to the kids once they graduate? One of the joys we have is to hang a gold medal around the neck of the winners, a silver medal around the second place winners. A lot of times they're not smiling because they really wanted to win that gold medal, their first place. And we also hand out bronze medals. But frequently we see that someone who's won a silver medal and not the gold, they're finishing up their fourth year of college and they have not won yet a Jefferson Dad Vail gold medal. So that's one of the let's say regrets we have, that everyone cannot win a gold.
That's every athletic event.
But we do hand out medals to those who win the alumni races, and we also distribute medals to those that win the corporate competition. And people may think it's apocryphal, but the fact is, many of those rowers wear their medals to work Monday morning after the regatta because they are so elated to having won a medal.
Now, for our neighbors, if they go to the Dad Vail Regatta and they see someone dressed similar to you with this brilliant gold jacket and then the emblem, what do they know about you by virtue of the jacket?
Well, I should let you know, Perry, these gold jackets you rarely see out in public. We sort of have a protocol. First of all, we say we're on the gold standard. You heard we give out a gold medal to winners. The gold jackets are earned by volunteers who've served 10 years or more. If someone serves 30 years, they are entitled to receive gold cufflinks. And there are emoluments that are distributed to volunteers through each stage of their volunteer career. Now, that's not the reason they volunteer, but the fact is they're volunteers, and I say the currency of the realm is credit. We give out credit for people who have helped and served well.
So we'll see a number of these gold jackets and emblems.
Well, you'll see them at the regatta.
Yes.
You will see that a number of our volunteers are board members. Our board of directors serves year-round in order to stage a regatta of this magnitude.
Yes.
And we do take off usually 2 months, but 10 months of the year, people are meeting, planning the next year, planning for how the live streaming video will work, for example. Planning what the next stage will be regarding keeping our sponsors meeting their fulfillment requirements, because they have certain expectations regarding sponsorships. Right. So there's a lot of day-to-day planning that goes on year-round. But the gold jackets you'll see come out during the regatta,
right,
but not everyone wears them. If someone's pulling buoys out on the river, setting up the race course to keep the boats in their proper lanes, they're going to be dressed entirely differently. They're not going to want to wear their gold jacket out to do that type of shirt sleeve work. But you won't see at a cocktail party, you probably won't see somebody wearing a Jefferson Dad Vail gold jacket. Such
as you're wearing right now. We do want to be sure to tell all of our neighbors the ways in which you can watch the Dad Vail Regatta. How can you be a spectator? You could go and, as you say, sit on the seawall.
Correct.
But there's also Jumbotron screens?
There's a Jumbotron screen right in the festival area, which is where all the food's located. I'd say there's probably 5 ways you can watch the regatta.
Okay.
You, of course, can watch it live streaming if you go to dadvail.org.
Okay.
If you can want to
so if you're sitting here in Radnor or Lower Merion, you can just go to the app.
Correct. Yes. A second way to watch, of course, is go to the regatta. You can drive. Right. You'll park remotely, and you'll take a shuttle bus. There's no charge for the shuttle bus, but the city charges parking.
Okay.
And there's no charge for the shuttle bus. They'll bring you right to the race venue. And the bus drivers, which we retain, we take care of the shuttle bus ourselves for all spectators at no charge. They'll stop wherever you'd like them to stop. Right. Just wave them down. If you need to take the bus back to parking, they'll pick anyone up along Kelly Drive, anyone who waves their hand that they would like the bus to stop. But people can drive right to the regatta. People can bike to the regatta. And bike ride right along Kelly Drive. It's a beautiful venue for biking. They can watch it. They can follow races down on their bikes. You'll be able to keep up with a boat, which usually, when rowers are rowing at their maximum speed, will be moving at about 18 to 20 miles an hour.
Oh.
So it's a nice. Now this is a 60-foot long shell.
Right.
So
it goes very fast.
And one of my favorite places to observe the races from, if you're biking or if you're walking along Kelly Drive, be sure you stop at the starting line.
Okay.
People sometimes, where should you watch the races from? Sure. It's exciting, of course, to watch the finish, but it's exciting to watch the starting line because you'll see all sorts of things happen there, such as when the boats are lining up, on occasion a boat will flip over.
Oh.
A double or a single. Right. Rowing requires balance.
Yes.
So there's a lot of excitement at the start. Occasionally, a crew will try to steal the start, meaning try to get the jump on the other crews.
Right.
And then they're called back, and they're awarded a false start. Right. If you're awarded 2 false starts, you can be eliminated from the regatta. Right. Crews, as they're rowing down the river, must stay in their lanes. Right. There are officials following the crews down with flags. And they will flag a crew to send a signal that they may be encroaching on another lane, and that can result in elimination as well. The tricky thing about this particular race course is it has a bend. There's a bend in the river by the Strawberry Mansion Bridge.
Yes.
And this has, every race course has its idiosyncrasies.
Yes.
A lot of people today want to race on an absolutely straight race course. Right. But as we talked about weather conditions before, no race course favors every lane equally. Right. For example, lane 6 in a straight away race course might have a little wind. Okay? Lane 1, whatever it might be, just a little more quiet than another lane. So The way we overcome issues regarding this turn in the river, we permit the winning crews in the heats to select their lane. So if, for example, we have a tailwind one day, crews might decide they would prefer to be in a lane different than the one they would if they're facing a headwind that particular day. So this turn under Strawberry Mansion Bridge has become legendary. It's one of the reasons this is a national race course. You know, there have been Olympics held on this race course.
What's that, right?
The Olympians now, FISA, which is the international body for racing, ensures for that type of competition that the race course is a straight course. But the fact is, Philadelphia is an epicenter for rowing. Boathouse Row, there's nowhere else like it in the world, much less the country. So there have been a lot of very, very famous races that took place on the Schuylkill River and plan to continue.
Terrific. Well, time is running out on all of us and our neighbors. We thank you for joining us on Radnor 21 Studios. We're very grateful for this opportunity. Jim, we're very grateful for all that you shared with us today.
Well, thanks, Perry.
And finally, we just want to invite all of our neighbors to come to the Schuylkill River or go to our app, either way you want to watch it, and check out the Dad Vail Regatta. I'm sorry, when is it again?
It's a Jefferson Dad Vail Regatta.
Jefferson Dad Vail.
Friday. Did you say that deliberately, Perry?
Yes, I did. I wanted to poke you on that.
That sounded like a prompt. Friday, May 10th, Saturday, May 11th. Everyone's welcome. It's free, and it's really just 10 minutes away.
The biggest rowing event in our country. We thank all of you for viewing us, and we wish you a good afternoon.